Hey there, guys. This is Mark Puckett with the Photo Video Show. I'm actually testing out the live show functions here on YouTube. I've never done it before, so I figured I would go ahead and give it a try and see what it was all about, see if I liked it, see if it was worth doing long term. So what I thought about doing was just sort of opening up the conversation and talking about whatever you guys would actually want to talk about for once. Just keep it clean, keep it simple, and let's talk about cameras. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and start off again with the A7R. And I know that a lot of people are really interested in the new A7R Mark II, as am I. At first, I was a little concerned with the whole thing because of the price tag. I was completely blown away at first because up to this point, we've not seen a Sony mirrorless camera in that particular price range. So it was a bit of a jolt to the system, I'll admit, to see that high of a price tag. And then once I really started to dive down into all of the features, into all of the specs, I began to finally realize just exactly how awesome and potentially amazing that this camera was actually going to be. And then the sticker shock kind of wore off, and then I was able to see a lot more potential in the A7R Mark II. So I released 2 videos now on the Sony's new camera lineup or whatever. And so far, they've gotten a great response, and I appreciate everyone's support and everyone actually helping their brother out with those likes and those thumbs ups and the shares and all that. So I do appreciate all that. And as far as like the camera itself goes, I think probably one of the biggest benefits now is going to be the fact that it's an all magnesium alloy body. And when we talk about magnesium alloy, we're generally talking about full-size professional-grade DSLRs. And a lot of times, at least for us mirrorless guys, I think that was kind of what we were trying to get away from, was the big, bulky, heavy cameras, because we didn't want to carry around the weight. At least that was a large motivator for me to switch from full-size DSLRs over to mirrorless. So what we ended up having now is we have a much smaller camera body with the magnesium alloy frame and the weather sealing and all that kind of stuff. So you're looking at a much more pro grade level body. Now, if you go ahead and you compare like the Sony A7R with this magnesium body and all that, and you compare it to a pro grade full-sized say like Nikon D4S or something like that, the difference in the two bodies is absolutely staggering. There's no comparison as to how much smaller and lighter the mirrorless system is obviously going to be. So when I'm looking at this is what I want to start carrying around, or this is the kind of camera that I want to actually toss in a bag and go on a trip with or whatever, would I choose the A7R Mark II or would I choose the Nikon D4S or whatever? I mean, just look at the pictures and do a side-by-side comparison, and you will see that there's absolutely no comparison. And not to mention, you get a feature set that is so above and beyond what, say, like Nikon and Canon are doing right now. The internal 4K recording. We can now leave our external recorders at home. We've got a lot of other stuff going on, like the stack sensor, the 42 megapixels. All granted, Canon's got us on that one, but the ISO performance has really been improved in the A7R Mark II. So I am having a really hard time not wanting this camera. The price tag, again, I was sticker shocked pretty bad. $3,200, that's a lot of money. For those of you guys that are just joining, please join in the chat room and send in your questions. I'll do Q&A tonight as well. Like I said, this is mainly just a test to see what I could do, but I also wanted to talk cameras with my audience. So if you guys want to join and ask some questions, or let's just have a conversation back and forth, I'm totally down for that. Having a little adult beverage here as well. So granted, production quality is going to be a bit low tonight. This is just kind of a spur of the moment thing. I just wanted to try it out and test. But getting back to the A7R Mark II, but yeah, if you actually look at the comparisons between the A7R Mark II and the full frame, full size professional DSLR bodies out there on the market right now, the size and the weight is just, it's a staggering difference, a really, really staggering difference. And for me as a photographer, I like to be very light, I like to be very mobile, and I don't want to be encumbered or hindered by my gear. And if you look at a lot of the old equipment from, say, 20 years ago, everything was heavy-duty metal. Everything was mechanical. Everything was just very chunky. Everything was just very heavy in general. Nowadays, most photographers in any other profession that you can think of out there, we want to go lighter and we want to go faster. None of us want to be lugging around 100 pounds of camera gear. I mean, our laptops have gotten smaller and lighter. Our cell phones have gotten smaller and lighter. So for someone to claim, and this goes back to the whole DSLR versus mirrorless debate, for anyone to claim that a mirrorless camera is not a professional tool, I call bullcrap. There's no reason to think that you can't get something done that is both smaller and lighter and still be professional. The A7 Mark II is a perfect example of why that is true. We have moved so far in mirrorless in just like the last 3 to 5 years, where they did kind of start off as novelties. There were a ton of people that had absolutely no interest in them because they did. You walked into your camera store, took a look at them, and you immediately dismissed it out of hand because those cameras look so similar to, say, what Uncle Joe would carry, his point and shoot, that no professional photographer wanted to be associated with that form factor. And I do believe that the mirrorless market is moving a little bit more towards a middle of the road between the point and shoots and the DSLRs. I think that they are kind of finding their groove. Not only are they removing the mirror and the mirror box and making that space between the sensor and the mount smaller, but they are making the body a bit bigger and chunkier. And you can see that clearly in the A7 Mark II and the A7R Mark II. The grip is getting bigger. It is definitely more holdable. And that, for me, increases comfort. The magnesium alloy now, that actually will increase weight. But if you are rough on your gear or you have any level of accident proneness, you're probably going to want something that's a bit more substantial, I think. But let's also talk about, this was just released yesterday. Sony added the XAVC-S and high bitrate video to the A6000. I don't know if anyone knows this, and I was planning on doing a video, a standard photo video show video on this tomorrow, but Sony added the higher bitrate video in the XAVC-S bitrate to your Sony A6000. So if you are currently walking around with an A6000, there is a firmware update. So you need to go grab that. I haven't actually downloaded onto my A6000 just yet. I'm going to do that. And then once I get a couple of hours to play with it tomorrow morning, I will then be moving over and making sure that I do an announcement video so that everyone knows and inform the people on the channel. So the firmware is version 2.0, and it has the ability to record in the XAVS format to the 16-month-old camera. So we are now looking at a camera that is 1 year, 4 months old. For Sony, that's a pretty old camera. I mean, they're usually on it right about a 12 to 14 month cycle. So for it to be, 16 months old, I'm wondering where the hell my A6000 replacement is. But the new codec effectively offers 50 megabits per second shooting at 24 frames per second, 30 frames per second, and 60p, and the PAL equivalents. So aside from the updated firmware, a Class 10 XDSC card is the only other thing that you're going to need to actually get started. Because as far as I know, if you don't have those high-speed memory cards, you're not going to be able to use the increased data rate, because the data rates are going to be too high for your older, slower cards. According to what I've been reading, Sony is still, I mean, they're just amazing when it comes to adding features to cameras that already exist. Of all the years that I shot Canon briefly in my earlier photographer career, and then I moved over to Nikon. But for those two big boys to actually do anything that was halfway amazing, you had to wait 2 years. And say 10 years ago, when they would add a little something or tweak a little something, even the small things were pretty big because technology wasn't moving as fast. But now, if you're just not on the bleeding edge, even if it is a bit of a hassle at times, I do think you do get kind of left behind. So for Sony to actually add the new codec, the XAVC codec, to a 16-month-old camera, instead of forcing you to wait for the A6000 replacement, the version 2 of the new firmware for the Sony A6000 it's a boon to us photographers. And for me, when I released my I'm divorcing Nikon video 6 months ago, I just don't think that it rings any truer like it does right now. With the release of the A7 Mark II, the A7R Mark II, the RX10 Mark II, and the RX100 Mark IV. All these cameras released. Pardon me. Decline. Had someone call me right in the middle of the show. So what we're looking at is old cameras that are still usable because all they needed was an update, a firmware update. So for any of you guys that have actually been playing around with the A6000, if you've already got the brand new version 2.0 firmware, don't forget this is a live show and we can do live discussions, interactions. You can join the chat room on the page, I believe. I apologize for the poor quality in the video. Like I said, this is kind of just on the fly. I'm just playing around and testing to see how I like the format. And if you guys enjoy it, maybe I'll do a few more of them. But yeah, I'm just basically using the webcam here on my laptop. Nothing special. It's all about the information. I would say at least the audio is good, right? But yeah, if you've got the new update already and you've been playing around with it, please hop over into the chat room and let me know, how it's going. Let me know how it's actually working out. I would love to hear from anyone that's actually messed around with it, and let me know how the video quality actually is. Because, like I said, I'm going to release a video on it tomorrow after I get a chance to play with it and actually test it out. I don't want to pump out just uninformed information, but I did want to at least let everyone know that it was currently available out there. So A6000 users, go grab that version 2 firmware update and let me know. Adobe, they released some new software today as well, or was it yesterday? I'm not a huge Adobe user except for Lightroom. And I generally try not to do the Creative Cloud thing. Honestly, I'm just not a fan. I don't like the thought of renting my software. I like to buy something and have it be mine. I don't know. It's kind of a novel concept, but Maybe some of you guys feel the same way. I think more and more people are kind of jumping on the Creative Cloud bandwagon though. As far as the Rebel T6S, now I'm almost positive that I don't have very many Canon users that watch my channel at all, and unless they're just looking for general information on photography. Most of my viewers are not going to be Canon users, but I think for people that are just starting out, if they're looking to get into some DSLRs, I don't think that Nikon and Canon are bad options. And Canon's released their EOS Rebel T6S, which essentially is the 760D. There is a fantastic review over on DP Preview. So if you guys want to check that out, or dpreview.com, go check that out. I am officially just kind of getting away from the DSLRs in general. The only sort of kind of DSLR camera that I'm even considering is not a DSLR at all. It's actually a bridge camera, and that would be the Sony RX10. So again, I go back to the fact that I think that anyone that's just starting out and that's just trying to maybe get into that sort of DSLR style body, the RX10 is honestly, it's sort of the sleeping giant in all of this, especially the Mark II, since it's just been released. You do get the DSLR form factor, and you do get the Zeiss glass. I mean, yes, it's $1,300, but what bridge camera have you ever used in your entire life? I've used a couple. I mean, in even most pro bodies, they'll come with a cheap kit lens or a cheaper kit lens that'll basically just sort of suffice you. But the RX10 has a focal range of 24 millimeter. This is 35 millimeter equivalents. 24 millimeter to, what is it, 240 millimeter or 200? Yeah, I think it's 240. If I'm wrong, someone correct me. But the RX10 is an amazing starter camera for anyone that's just trying to get into photography. Not only do you get the Zeiss glass, the ridiculously amazing and usable focal range of 24 to roughly 240 or something like that. The DSLR form factor is an amazing thing if you like a bigger, chunkier body. But it also has a microphone in and a headphone out. So I think that it's especially amazing for anyone that wants to do like electronic news gathering or anything like, if you're doing any kind of run and gun documentary film work, those now combined with the RX10 Mark II, now you've got 4K internal video recording. And I can't remember or not if the RX10 has the S-Gamut or the S-Log picture profiles or not. I genuinely can't. But if the RX10 does have that, combined with the 4K, combined with the audio in and the headphone out jack, and the Zeiss glass, and the 24 to 240 millimeter focal range, you're talking about an amazing $1,300 camera. As a matter of fact, the only reason that I don't want it, and this is the only reason, is because it doesn't have a swivel to the front tilt-to screen. Because I think for video creators, video makers, documentary filmmakers, wedding videographers, I mean, that's pretty much the range that you're going to use on damn near everything. Anything more than that would basically be super telephoto, landscape, maybe wildlife, or not landscape, wildlife, photography, stuff like that. So, like again, I want to just remind everyone this is a live show. So if you would like to contribute, please head on over to the chat window on there. I guess it's on there. I'm just going to double check just in case, because this is my first time Google Hangouts on air, and I just want to make sure that I'm doing everything right. So I'm going to assume I'm doing everything right. because I actually do have some viewers, but I don't actually see the video anywhere. I don't know where that would be. Where would it be? Maybe it's on my channel. Maybe I'll just check there. So I apologize to everyone for the noviceness of this broadcast, because I clearly don't know what the F I am doing right now. I don't see it anywhere. So I'm just going to assume that everything's just awesome. At any rate, let me get back to what we were talking about. Now, I do know also that there were a ton of people. All right, I won't say a ton. There were a lot of people that started using the RX10, the original, because of the fact that it did have all the features that I mentioned before. But now with the internal 4K recording, you are looking at a powerhouse of a little camera that will pretty much do everything that most videographers are going to want. And that even includes me. But because I do a lot of self-recording, the screen has to come forward. I mean, being a one-man show, doing one-man content all the time, I need to be able to see that I'm framed correctly and all that kind of stuff. And just having that swivel or tilt-out screen is a huge boon to anyone that does, whether it be YouTube videos or whether it be picture-in-picture videos, say like with Twitch or just anything that they do that for. If you need to record yourself, I do think that possibly the RX 100 Mark IV is probably going to be the better option. The only problem with it is that you don't have the audio in for a microphone and you don't have the audio out, so that if you have an actual camera operator, they can monitor the audio for you and make adjustments as necessary. But those are the two major downsides of the RX10. I mean, but it is the plus side to the RX Mark IV is that you do get the pocketable form factor. Then the pocketable form factor makes it extremely good for anyone that wants to do those kind of videos for travel. And like I've continued to say on my videos, I do a lot of backpacking and I do a lot of hiking and stuff like that. So carrying around an interchangeable lens camera is not always the best option, in my opinion. So what have we talked about here so far? The Sony A7R Mark II, amazing. I can't wait to get my hands on it. If nothing else, just to test it and to see if I like it and to provide you guys with information. The Sony A6000 just released version 2 of their firmware. So for any of you that have not updated to that yet, or if you have, hop in the chat room and please let me know how that's going. I'm sure that most of you all, if you actually own an A6000, you probably download it right now instead of telling me how awesome it is. And the Sony RX10 Mark II with the 4K recording and the amazing focal range and all that, awesome. I think Sony is just killing it right now. And that's not just me being biased or a Sony fanboy or whatever. They are outpacing just about every other manufacturer out there. There are innovations from other manufacturers, but they just don't seem to be as fast released. I think Sony is better at recognizing need and demand faster than most other manufacturers, especially Nikon and Canon. And I don't want to knock on Nikon and Canon, but the fact of the matter is that they screwed us over for so long when they just had, you know, they would put out a $3,000 camera body. They would wait 2 years, literally do almost nothing that entire 2 or 3 years. And then they would add stuff that they should have had in the initial release, and they release that stuff 2 or 3 years after that and go, look at what we've done. Look at the innovation that we've provided you as a customer. And I just think that old model of slow change, slow methodical, I just don't think it's going to work out for them anymore. The millennial generation is an instant gratification generation. They want their shit and they want it right now. I'm Generation X, but I'm in that camp because I too want it right now. I think we are able to recognize faster what we need to make our jobs easier as photographers and videographers. And when we don't see the technology there, we're just not willing to wait. I know that I wasn't. As soon as I saw Sony and all the stuff they were doing, I had absolutely no qualms whatsoever about jumping ship. Some people are just really hardcore brand loyalists, and I don't understand that. You do have a lot of YouTubers on the internet that are constantly either pumping one side or the other simply for the fact that they love that brand. Right now, I love Sony because they are actually giving us what we need / want. And actually, I should probably say me, because I don't know if they're giving you what you want or need. But should Sony, in my opinion, ever get lax in their advancements in technology or innovation, and they start trying to pull the same stuff as Nikon or Canon, I will have zero problem jumping ship from Sony as well. I will sell all Sony gear. I will sell all Sony lenses, and I will hop on to the next manufacturer, because production and manufacturing and distribution is so good at this point that it doesn't take us very long at all to move into a new system and become productive again very, very quickly. And that is the world that we're living in these days, is that you either deliver and deliver in a timely fashion, or you're going to lose your customer base. Right now, Sony's killing it. They are throwing fastballs just about every single time they do a camera announcement. And so long as they keep that pace, they're going to keep my business. But like I said, if they ever decide to try and go the way of the dinosaurs, such as Nikon and Canon, with the very slow, unimpressive updates, they too will be gone. Bye-bye. So I love Sony right now, and I hope they continue to impress. I hope they continue to crank out innovation as fast as they have been. But should the day ever come when they don't, then, you know, there's nothing wrong with swapping to another manufacturer that's making it. Like, these are not sports teams, and even sports teams I can't see being, you know, overly loyal to. I'll switch teams in a heartbeat. Anyway, guys, I want to remind everyone that this is, in fact, a live show. Just kind of testing it out. We're talking cameras here, currently Sony cameras. So if you've got any information, or you want to hop in to the chat room and throw me some comments, that would be awesome. Let me know if you even like the format. Like I said, I just kind of threw it together, wanted to test it out, see how it was, how it was going to work out. So if you guys are actually interested, make sure that you encourage me or something. I did radio for a very long time, so sitting at a desk and just talking to myself and imagining that you all are out there just kind of listening, it's kind of an old hat. I've done it before, but without actually having any like show material or stuff to kind of keep myself on topic. It does. The interaction, that's what we like. We like the interaction. I want you all to interact. So, again, it's live, so hop on over to the chat room, hook a brother up. I wanted to go ahead and also talk about what was it? The new Leica Q. Is that what it's called? I think. The Leica Q, if I can find it again. There it is. The Leica Q. I'm not a huge Leica fan personally. I do think that they're very pretty looking rangefinders, but you can find old school, for real though, rangefinders in camera stores the world over. eBay is replete with old rangefinders. I think Leica just loves their gear way too much. They too are another company that I just don't think what they try and do is they try and be sort of like the Apple of the camera world. I'm not necessarily sold on it. I think that if I was to buy into the hype, maybe I would, but I can't really see it. But a lot of people seem to think that it's a pretty awesome little camera. I'm not really into the form factor. But there are a lot of people that absolutely just love their Leica cameras. And they really should, with as much as most of the dollar bills that they try to command for a Leica. But this particular new Leica Q, it's going to be 24 megapixels, which I think is a nice addition. I think that's a nice happy medium right now. A lot of people are trying to do the race to 50 or 100 or whatever, and I think it really affects the low light performance of a camera. The more megapixels you try and cram on that sensor. Pardon me. The max resolution is 6,000 by 4,000, so it's a nice big. Again, I can see the benefit, but then you've got the Sony RX100. I'm not really sure how much better it honestly would be. Some people would probably just go, how could you ever possibly compare Leica to Sony? But I'm doing it, and I don't care. This, I believe, is a fixed lens camera. I don't even think that it's an interchangeable lens camera. Maybe it is, but I don't think it is. If I'm wrong, someone please let me know. I'm almost positive the Leica Q is a fixed focal range camera, and the focal range is only a 28 millimeter. I think it's going to be pretty awesome for landscapes, maybe group shots, but not much more than that. And again, we're also talking about Leica here. I mean, they're just going to charge an arm and leg. As a matter of fact, I need to find out exactly how much this camera is. Again, it's a live show, so if you know already, let me know. It is currently unavailable, so I guess the retail price has not even been released yet, which is a smidge unfortunate. But I do think that a lot of people are probably going to have a good time with it. And Leica has a really rabid following. You're not allowed to say anything bad about a Leica. It's interesting, too, because I guess it just kind of goes with a lot of other manufacturers. When you hop on a team, you know, I'm Team Nikon. You're not allowed to say anything bad about Nikon. Or I'm Team Sony. You're not allowed to say anything bad about Sony. The fanboys are... I hope I don't have any fanboys watching. I hope that you are rational, objective, manly or womanly human beings that know the difference between a tool and blind religion to a camera company. I mean, let's get real. I also wanted to talk about Adobe Camera Raw. They just released an update. I believe it's 9.1. It basically adds the, it's a new feature. And I've got a friend of mine, Eric Rossi, here on YouTube, that did a promo or a demo video of it. So if you guys happen to be subscribed to Eric Rossi, go ahead and go check out his video. But if not, they've added a dehaze feature. And I don't really see the benefit in the dehaze feature, because to me, it just looks like it shifts the mids from the highlights over to the lows. And I can do that with exposure. Maybe they call it a feature because it's just a one slider option. So you basically just steal information from the highlights and then push it over to the darks. And it basically just increases the contrast between the white and the black, and just moves all the middle information and shifts it so that you essentially get a different looking image. Yeah, I don't know that it's all that useful, but it's free. So if you happen to use it, it could be useful, especially if you live in places where there is nothing but haze, smog, fog. Seattle comes to mind. Damn near anywhere in China, Shanghai comes to mind. Anywhere where there's a strong industrial presence. I know couple spots out in California used to be that way, but I think we've gotten quite a bit better with the haze and the smog and all that. So it could be a useful feature for some people. I haven't really had to use it, even though we do get hazy weather here from time to time. It's not like heavy dense fog all the time. And if it is heavy dense fog, I'm probably outside trying to capture the heavy dense fog on purpose. Now, the other thing that Adobe had released was it was a speedier, so a much faster healing brush. So now the healing brush is a tool that I think we can all pretty much get behind. The healing brush has been an amazing tool for photographers and stuff. So what they've done is they've made it so much faster. So it will sample a portion of the image and recognize the data that's under your healing tool and identify pixels that would match the surrounding ones, excuse me, much, much, much faster. And when you do that, you are increasing the amount of time that you don't have to spend in front of your editor. Especially for those wedding shoots where you've got like 3,000 photographs that you've got to plow through, and if every girl on the maidens of honor, if you all those going, can you get rid of this and can you get rid of that, and just can you just change my face altogether? A faster healing brush is definitely going to help out with people that do any kind of portrait work or wedding photography or anything like that. And any time saved in post is more money that could ultimately go into your pocket because you don't have to waste as much time fixing small imperfections, like stuff on people's shirts, hats, whatever. So again, I want to remind everyone this is a live show. So if you are in a chat room somewhere, I honestly don't know where that would be. I feel like I'm in a chat room, but I don't see anyone in a chat room. I don't even know where you guys are watching this from. As a matter of fact, if anyone has Twitter, would you please shoot me a message on Twitter and let me know where you're watching this at? Because I can't see it on my YouTube channel. And there's a chat room in this window, but there's no one in a chat room. So I literally have no idea where you guys are at, where you're watching from, or where I can find you. So the Twitter account is, I'll put it on screen. Can I do that? Cameraman, no. No. Can I not? I guess I can't do that. I don't know. It's at Photo Video Show on Twitter. So if you guys could do that for me, that would be awesome. Because I have no idea where this is at. I'm looking, and I have no idea. Again, I want to reiterate, this was just a test to see if you guys like the formats. I don't know where the video is actually at, where it's being, like it's not on my channel. I'm looking at it right now. And I don't see it. So, as a matter of fact, I think this is just like a live event. It's not like, so maybe the live events actually get added to your YouTube account after you get done recording it. And if it does, then that would make sense. Maybe it's got to kind of process itself on YouTube after the fact. But yeah, I'm kind of waiting for the Sony A7R to come out. I'm really interested in that camera. And this is essentially what I've been waiting for. I had not jumped into Sony full frame just yet because I wanted there to finally be, I mean, we were on the cusp, 6 months ago. But Sony just hadn't done it. And I knew that if it wasn't going to be this year, it was definitely going to be next year where they were going to have internal 4K recording. And that's what I've been waiting for. I do see that, there's a lot of benefit to full frame. Not as much as you would think. Some people might argue that fact, but 4K video, for me, I do too much video to not want 4K. As of right now, 1080p has been fine. But if you just want amazingly crispy video, then you've got to almost go 4K and then just downsample it, downres it so that it fits in 1080, and then you get 4 times the resolution crammed into that same 1080p window. And a lot of video content producers and stuff like that, they're going to use the absolute dog crap out of the internal 4K recording, because now they're not going to have to buy external HD recorders. I'm actually expecting Atomos to literally just put all of their stuff on sale here pretty soon. And I say that the whole world is a Sony camera user or whatever, but as of right now, you're looking at Canon doesn't support it on any of their cameras that I can think of right off the top of my head. Nikon doesn't support 4K on any of the cameras that they have currently, and several other ones. I mean, Panasonic is doing awesome. They've now had 4K internal, not, or is it? No. 4K on Panasonic is external. I do believe you need a clean HDMI out to get that done. And I don't really see Atomos giving up any of that market share, so they'll probably keep cranking it out because it's universal for HDMI, so it doesn't really matter what camera manufacturer it is. But yeah, the people, Sony guys are not going to need it, because now the Pocket line has it, their bridge camera has it, their full frame camera has it, and the only thing we're waiting on now is the Sony A6000 replacement, which if it doesn't have it, I'm going to be pissed, so pissed. But I don't. There's absolutely no reason for it not to have it. I mean, if their Pocket camera has it, and the bridge camera has it, and the full frame has it, the A6000 replacement had better damn have it. I'm going to be pretty upset. So I'm not getting responses on Twitter. Maybe you guys don't use Twitter. I have no idea. But I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And if you did, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave comments or questions down. Oh, I don't know if that's true for this or not. But at any rate, thanks again for stopping here at the Photo Video Show. I'm your host, Mark Puckett, and I'll see you guys again on the next one. Peace.